It's exhausting, isn't it? Always being the one who texts first, who tries harder, who bends over backward just to keep the love alive. You've poured so much energy into chasing him that you've forgotten what it feels like to simply be pursued. And then one day you stop. You stop sending the long messages. You stop calling just to hear his voice. You stop being the one who fills in the gaps. And suddenly he feels it. That silence you leave behind. It speaks louder than all your words. But what does he feel when you stop chasing? Does he panic? Does he regret? Does he finally realize your worth? The answer might surprise you. It's exhausting, isn't it? Always being the one who tries harder. Always being the one who texts first, who fixes the silence, who carries the weight of a love that feels heavier on your side. You tell yourself, if I just hold on a little tighter, maybe he'll finally see how much I care. Maybe he'll meet me halfway. But deep down, it feels like you're running after someone who keeps slipping further away. You've been there, the endless cycle of waiting by the phone, heart racing at every notification, hoping it's him. You write and rewrite messages, trying to strike the right tone, careful not to sound too eager, yet desperate not to sound distant either. And every time you press send, you're secretly praying for the kind of response that will reassure you he still feels the same. But instead, his replies come shorter, slower, emptier, and it leaves you hollow, like you're talking into a void. The truth is, chasing him feels like giving pieces of yourself away, one by one. With every unanswered call, with every message left unread, you feel yourself shrinking a little more. You wonder if he even notices the effort you put in, if he even cares that you're the one keeping the connection alive. And the painful reality is it starts to feel like you're fighting to convince him of something he should already know, that you're worth staying close to. Then, one day, something in you shifts. Maybe it's quiet at first, maybe you don't even recognize it right away, but suddenly you feel the exhaustion outweigh the hope. You stop typing out the long messages. You stop checking his social media for signs that he's still invested. You stop calling just to hear his voice. You stop chasing. And in that silence, as hard as it is, you feel a strange mix of pain and relief. Pain, because part of you still aches for him to notice. Relief, because for once, you're no longer draining yourself to keep someone else close. But those first days after stopping are brutal. You feel the ache in every hour of silence, the weight of wondering if he even cares that you've pulled back. You lie awake thinking, will he miss me? Will he even notice I've stopped trying? Or will my absence mean nothing at all? That thought haunts you. The possibility that all your effort, all your love, all your chasing could disappear without leaving a trace in his heart. And yet, there's another side to it too. Because in those moments of not chasing, you can't help but wonder what it feels like on his end. Does he feel the void where your energy used to be? Does he scroll through his phone expecting your name to appear only to be met with silence? Does he finally realize that the woman he thought would always be there has stepped back? You don't have those answers, and the not knowing is its own kind of torment. This is the painful reality. Chasing made you feel unseen, but stopping leaves you with an ache of uncertainty. You're caught between two kinds of heartbreak, the pain of trying too hard for someone who didn't meet you, and the pain of wondering if your absence will ever truly matter to him. And in that space, you're left with the question every woman asks in the quiet of her own heart. When I finally stop chasing, what does he really feel? So why does it feel this way? Why is it that you can pour everything into chasing him, and yet the moment you stop, something inside you aches with both fear and hope? It's because love has a way of making us believe that effort alone will hold someone close. And when you've been the one carrying the relationship, it feels like stepping back is the same as letting it all collapse. For women, effort often equals love. Reaching out, checking in, being present, these are the ways you show your care. So when he grows distant, Your instinct is to close the gap, to chase, to give more, to try harder. It's not weakness, it's love. It's the hope that if you just love him enough, he'll say it, he'll feel it, and he'll finally come closer. But what you don't see in those moments is how your chasing changes the balance between you. Because here's the hidden truth. Many men don't feel the weight of what they have until it's no longer being handed to them. When you are always available, always calling, always filling in the silence, he gets used to it. It becomes the air he breathes, so constant he doesn't even notice it's there. Your effort, your love, your presence, it becomes his normal. And when something becomes normal, it's easy to take it for granted. That's why when you stop chasing, the silence speaks louder than all your words ever could. Suddenly, the good morning text he didn't answer isn't waiting in his phone. The long messages that once poured from you no longer arrive. The woman who always made sure he felt seen and supported steps back, and in that space he feels the loss. It unsettles him even if he doesn't admit it, because men feel the difference more than they'll ever say out loud. But here's the part most women overlook. You think that if you stop chasing, he'll forget you, that your silence will erase the bond. But often the opposite happens. Your silence forces him to feel what your presence had been covering up all along. It makes him realize that what he thought was guaranteed was actually a gift. It makes him question why he didn't give back more. And it makes him see that the woman he once assumed would always be there has a strength he underestimated. And yet, it's not just about what he feels, it's about what you feel too. Because stopping the chase doesn't just shake him, it shakes you. It shows you how much of yourself you've been giving away, how much of your worth you've tied to his response, how much you've been running after someone who should have been meeting you halfway. That realization hurts, but it also opens your eyes. You start to see that love isn't meant to be carried on one back alone. You start to notice the difference between effort and exhaustion. And you begin to understand that the woman who stops chasing isn't weak or forgotten, she's powerful. Because she's finally letting silence say what words could never prove. But here's the part most women never realize. When you stop chasing a man, the silence that follows can feel heavier than all the chasing you ever did. Your heart aches to feel it again, to reach out, to prove that your love hasn't gone anywhere. But this is the moment that defines you, not by how desperately you try to hold on to him, but by how you choose to hold on to yourself. This is where dignity and self-respect matter most, because they remind you that your worth is not measured by how hard you run after someone, but by how deeply you honor yourself. The first step is to sit with the discomfort instead of rushing to fix it. Emotionally, this is painful because the urge to bridge the silence is strong. You fear he won't notice your absence, that he'll slip away completely. But by holding back, you give yourself space to see the truth of the situation. Practically, this means when you feel the pull to text, call, or scroll through his social media, you pause, you breathe, you remind yourself, if I break my silence just to soothe my fear, I'm giving away my power again. Imagine this. You pick up your phone to send a long message, then stop yourself and go for a walk instead. The silence remains, and though it stings, it also strengthens you. In that moment, you've chosen self-respect over panic. The second step is to redirect your energy into yourself. Chasing him may have drained you, leaving little room for the things that once brought you joy. Emotionally, this step is about reminding yourself that you are more than the relationship, more than his response. Practically, it could mean revisiting hobbies you once abandoned, setting new personal goals, or reconnecting with friends who lift you up. Picture this. Instead of spending hours analyzing why he hasn't called, you sign up for a class you've always wanted to take, or you spend an evening laughing with a friend who reminds you of the light you carry. That shift doesn't erase the ache, but it reminds you that your life is still full and worthy, with or without his presence. The third step is to reclaim your voice when the time feels right. This doesn't mean chasing him again or demanding his attention. It means speaking your truth from a place of calm strength rather than desperation. Emotionally, this empowers you because you're no longer swallowing your feelings out of fear. Practically, it could sound like, I have realized I need a relationship where effort goes both ways. I'm not here to do all the chasing. Imagine this. After days of silence, he finally reaches out. Instead of rushing back with relief, you answer with clarity, calmly letting him know what you deserve. That moment shifts everything, not because you forced him to change, but because you stood firm in your own value. And the final step, the one that proves your deepest strength, is being willing to let go if the imbalance continues. Emotionally, this is terrifying, because part of you still hopes he'll come running back. But love without mutual effort is a burden you should not carry. Practically, this means recognizing patterns. If he only responds when you chase, if he never steps forward on his own, then your silence is showing you the truth. He's not ready or willing to meet you where you deserve to be met. Imagine this. He doesn't call, doesn't show up, and instead of caving and chasing again, you decide to move forward with your life. You choose to protect your heart from being drained further. That decision doesn't mean you've failed. It means you've won, because you chose yourself over a cycle that diminished you. Each of these steps is about remembering the truth you've overlooked while chasing. Your worth is not up for negotiation. You don't need to prove it, beg for it, or exhaust yourself to earn it. The moment you stop chasing and start honoring yourself, you take back the power you thought you lost. And whether he notices or not, you'll know you are no longer a woman who runs after someone else's love. You are a woman who walks in the strength of her own. So there comes a moment when you realize that stepping back wasn't the end of your story, it was the beginning of your strength. For so long you believed that love meant effort, and effort meant chasing. You believed that if you could just show him how much you cared, he would finally wake up to see your worth. But when you stop chasing, something shifts. Not just in him, but in you. At first, the silence feels unbearable. You wonder if he'll notice. You wonder if he'll care. You wonder if all the love you poured into him will simply fade away, leaving no trace behind. But slowly you begin to see the truth. His response, or his lack of it, is not a reflection of your value. It is a reflection of his readiness, his willingness, his capacity to meet you where you deserve to be met. And your decision to stop chasing is not weakness. It is the purest form of dignity. You should feel proud of yourself for choosing silence when your heart screamed to speak. Proud that you resisted the urge to beg for the love you already deserved. Proud that you chose to honor your worth instead of exhausting yourself to prove it. That choice is powerful. That choice is unforgettable. That choice is what separates women who lose themselves in someone else's indifference from women who rise stronger in their own light. And here's the hope you must hold on to. The right man will never require you to chase. He will never make you feel like love is a one-sided effort. He will meet you where you are. He will value your presence without needing the threat of your absence. He will see your worth not when you're gone, but while you're standing right in front of him. That is the kind of love you deserve. That is the kind of love you should wait for. So instead of asking yourself what he feels when you stop chasing, ask yourself what you feel. Because deep down, you know this. The moment you stop chasing him is the moment you start reclaiming yourself. It's the moment you step back into your power. The moment you realize you don't need to run after anyone to be worthy of love. You never did. You are not replaceable, you are not forgettable, you are not a woman who needs to prove her worth by stretching herself thin. You are a woman who brings light, loyalty, and depth, the kind of qualities no one can replicate. And whether he realizes it today, tomorrow, or years from now, your absence will remind him of what your presence once gave him. That is the power of being the woman who stops chasing. So walk forward with your head held high. Walk forward knowing that the silence you chose was not weakness, but wisdom. Walk forward knowing that the love you carry within you is too valuable to be poured endlessly into someone who does not see it. Because one day, the man who is meant for you will not require your chase. He will meet you with open arms, steady love, and the kind of effort that makes you feel at home. And when that day comes, you will look back on this moment with pride, because stopping the chase wasn't the day you lost him. It was the day you found yourself. Remember these truths when the doubt creeps in. Stopping the chase doesn't mean you lost, it means you chose yourself. The right man will never make you run to be seen, he'll see you standing still. Your silence speaks louder than words. It says, I know my worth.